When I watched this video, I actually thought it was really interesting to watch because you were able to see how different cultures look at education and what it means for different students to be able to have that education. And I think that's interesting because, at least I think here in America, there's the stigma that school is boring and nobody likes it, and all the kids wish they never had to do schoolwork because you could just go outside and play all day. And yeah, I think to an extent, everybody wants to play all day, but school is important part of life. And so it was interesting to see that these kids around the world were risking their life or trying to change their culture into being one that accepts education for all students and or for all children. And one thing I thought was interesting in learning about the girl from Afghanistan, I believe it was, how she said nothing comes without learning. And so it was cool to see how she realized that if she wanted to get somewhere in life, then she was going to have to learn, that she was going to have to work hard and grow. And that girl was, I thought, amazing for going to school and then coming home and doing all these chores to help her family, even though it was probably really exhausting for her and it did hinder her schoolwork, but she never gave up and she just kept going as far as she could in school because she wanted to be able to learn so that she could become a doctor, I believe she said in the video. And I think that's a great aspiration to have. And what I realized is that education is like such a prized goal or prized blessing or privilege to have. Having this privilege, you're able to have your eyes open up and your perspective is open up to the world around you. The same girl, she also said not going to school is like being blind. And I thought that was super intriguing for her to say, or super insightful, because when you can't see, basically you're going to struggle in life, and there's only so many places you can go by yourself. You're going to need that extra hand or that extra help to be able to push on. And so, like, actually this last week in my Relief Society and Sunday school, we talked about like being physically blind versus spiritually blind. And so I think this goes along the lines almost with being spiritually blind, because you have, like, your mind is just closed off. You're not able to understand, and then with limited understanding, like, you're never going to have, well, it's possible to have a positive experience, but your life is able to be so much richer and so much fuller when you're able to understand more things around you. Another thing that stood out to me in the video was how schools could be a refuge for these students in these different countries, how they were like war-torn or have bad influences such as the drug lords and stuff like that. Their school was a place that they could go to be safe and to be able to not have to worry about their life in that school building. And they're able to just be who they are, and they didn't have to worry about home life or struggles that they were facing. And I think that's even true for anywhere around the world, because when your home life is something that's more on the sad side, and then it's hard to be able to face life. But when you have that break in the day to be able to just be able to get out of your house, to get out of the area and feel safe at school. Hopefully kids feel safe at school. Unfortunately, there are some places where schools aren't the best or safest place to be, but I also thought it was interesting how graduation was such a big impact for the children in this video. There was the one boy, I believe he was in Brazil, and he couldn't graduate from 5th grade to 6th grade because of his age, and the teachers were worried that school wouldn't be a comfortable place for him if he graduated, because he was younger than the rest of the kids in his class because he moved up because he was so intelligent, and that impacted him because he felt sad. He was like, I've worked hard in this class and why can't I progress? But I think that was something, it would be a hard choice to make, because going back to like the school being a refuge, if school, like if he moved up into that grade where he was like maturity wise not ready, then school wouldn't be a positive experience for him. But then again, having to repeat the grade even though he was a very successful student, that would also be frustrating to him, and that would be something that would stop him possibly to progress. But hopefully he was able to still push through, and hopefully now he's still going to school, because I think he would be able to do a lot of cool things in life. He seems like a really intelligent kid. And throughout this video, it kind of showed to me that like changes to be able to change your culture, change the society, for something like as simple as education, it was something that wouldn't be able to happen overnight, and that it was a day-to-day change, but it almost even seemed like a battle in some places. But I'm grateful that I'm able to live in this culture and society where I can love learning and where I can progress to be who I want to be, and to be able to set a goal and make a dream and get there. But yeah, this video is really interesting for me to watch, and I think it'll do a lot of good.